It's what a classic authoritarian does. It's not just about influencing your institutions, your values. They want to influence your reality.
That was how Hillary Clinton concluded her remarks at that California tech conference today, where she certainly made some news on her views of the Russia inquiry. We played some of that at the top of the show. But Clinton also went well beyond Russia and the FBI. Here, for example, is the full context of her warning about authoritarianism. She was pushing back on a question about Twitter's impact on civil discourse and basically urging her audience to keep their eye on the ball.
You can't let Trump and his allies be a diversion. They are a threat. And they have been effective up until now. So Twitter is a perfect example. You're going to drive up the numbers. You've got more people chasing rabbits down rabbit holes. You've got all kinds of stuff happening. Why? To divert attention. It's like Kofifi. Trending worldwide. Maybe for a minute you'll forget the latest accusations about them conspiring with Russia, or their $1 trillion mathematical mistake in their budget, or depriving 23 million people of health care. You know, it's the circus, yeah, right? It's what a classic authoritarian does. It's not just about influencing your institutions, your values. They want to influence your reality. Your reality. That was a big theme for Clinton today, that in a world of political propaganda and viral lies where the beneficiaries of fake news go around accusing the real news of being fake news, she argued that reality itself is under siege. Hillary Clinton did not win the Electoral College, but today she reiterated that she won more votes and that she wants to work with her supporters not only to press disagreements with the Trump White House, but to expose how disagreements about reality and the truth itself, she argues, are corroding democracy. Joining me now, I'm very happy to say, is Andrea Mitchell, NBC News chief foreign correspondent, the host of MSNBC's Andrea Mitchell Reports, and a longtime reporter and chronicler of the Clintons. Your impression of what we heard today and how it differed, if at all, from past Hillary Clinton statements?
Well, she, first of all, really drilled down on the fake news, the role of InfoWars, and said that it was very clear to her that there were Americans directing and colluding, conspiring really with the Russian hackers, with Guccifer, with the others who were involved in the hacking, in the dropping of WikiLeaks only an hour after the Access Hollywood tape was disclosed, and saying that they were doing so with such political sophistication. She was basically pointing to the Trump campaign, saying that the dots are now being connected in the investigation. She mentioned She mentioned Jared Kushner. She mentioned Bannon and Kellyanne Conway in the context of the fact that the Mercers, the big fundraisers who contribute to the campaign and own Cambridge Analytics, had said, you know, to Trump, bring on Bannon from Breitbart, bring on Kellyanne Conway, who were already on their payroll, as part of the deal, and that they connected with the data bank and the RNC. So she's drawing a conspiracy theory. She doesn't have the evidence, but she is obviously hoping that this is that Robert Mueller and what the congressional committees could do. She's also not blaming herself, and this is something that she has said before, that she believes, despite the mistakes that a lot of people have pointed out in judgment and in campaign strategy, that they were trending upward. And she keeps pointing, you know, to the data that show that when James Comey, 11 days out, dropped his letter and reopened the email issue, that's what stalled her momentum, especially cutting in half, she said, her polling advantage with suburban women in Pennsylvania, where she one of the 3 states that led to a cumulative loss of 77,000 votes that just delivered the Electoral College to Donald Trump.
And she spoke about his appeal and the way that he approaches politics. Listen to her on that point.
He does have a visceral grasp of America's political underbelly. He really understands how to inflame people, how to motivate them, how to bond with them over whatever their grievance is. You know, whatever resentment or point of anger that you may have, if he can get into it, whether it's race or sex or xenophobia or anti-Islamophobia, whatever it is.
What did you make of that analysis of hers?
Well, she, you know, she is trying to come to grips with the kind of rhetoric and the kind of anger that he was able to exploit. Interestingly, she also says that there is, from her view, misogyny in this, that voters are willing to accept anger and passion from a Bernie Sanders, from a Donald Trump at a campaign rally in a way that they will not accept it from her. Now, others have criticized her delivery and her voice and other aspects of her. She says that that is a double standard, that there is a sexism still involved in the way voters view candidates who are female.
Well, and she...
By the way...
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, if you thought the campaign was over and that he has been president for, 204 days or something, tonight, this Trump tweet and her response, he tweeted, "Crooked Hillary Clinton now blames everybody but herself, refuses to say she was a terrible candidate, hits Facebook and even Dems and DNC." So he's calling her Crooked Hillary. Last I knew, there was no FBI investigation into her, but there is an FBI investigation into his campaign. And she tweeted back, "People in Kofifi houses shouldn't throw Kofifi." That late tonight.
I see that, and I see it's 9:30 p.m. that she posted that, and it already has 26,000 retweets and counting. Interesting to see these two obviously still going at it, using Twitter, part of the information architecture that she's alleging was, she believes, part of a potential type of collusion, as you report, and also the question about how it affects all this. You know, on the sexism, I wonder what you think of that, as having followed her for so long and she's had these different chapters, because one thing I heard her really stress today was that, yes, she acknowledges that people didn't like some of what she did, but she put it in the larger context of the double standard that women candidates are held to. And she was quite explicit. She cited research that Sheryl Sandberg from Facebook has cited in Lean In, that there is documented data that shows an inverse relationship to the success of an individual in their gender. More successful men lauded, more successful women run into a lot more antipathy. So it struck my ear that she was getting way more into it today than she did on the campaign trail. Of course, she may feel that there was no reward for that, obviously, on the campaign trail.
Well, she tried to take advantage of gender initially when she was announcing on Roosevelt Island and speaking about her mother, speaking of herself as a grandmother. She was using it in a way that she never did in the 2008 campaign, when she was trying to prove she's tough and commander-in-chief. And I think that they realized she needed to soften the edges, but then she reverted to a campaign that really didn't deal with gender. And I think it's because they had polling data that there was still a resistance to accepting a woman candidate for president, even after accepting that she could be tough enough to be Secretary of State and, deal with foreign policy. There really is, she feels, and I think the data probably supports her on this, that there was a double standard in the way they accepted a Bernie Sanders or a Donald Trump being passionate. Now, it's also affect. It's also the way we react to a voice and to seeing a woman getting more high-pitched and being angry. I think there's something to that. That said, people will argue that she should have been a lot farther ahead so that the Comey hit 11 days out didn't hurt as badly as it did. But she really believes it was determinative, and she's got polling data from, from plenty of people, Nate Silver and others, to show that she was going up, and then she flatlined and started heading downward.
Right, and you could see it in the emphasis that she is as on the news and on the information as ever. I mean, she had all her examples ready, and if anything struck me, at least, as more candid than usual. Andrea Mitchell, host of Andrea Mitchell Reports from NBC, thank you for joining.
You bet.
And we have more. Stay with us.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.